Hey everybody, Scott Brown here with day 31 of Darren LaCroix's 90-day Facebook Live Challenge. Yes, Duff, I pulled out the abacus and I actually figured out what day it is today. It's day 31 today. And today I want to talk about measure what matters. Measure what matters. I went to Indianapolis today for the ATD, Association of Training and Development, Central Indiana chapter meeting, and I heard this fascinating story there today. There was a guy who was telling us that a couple years ago, when he was at his old company, they put together all of these micro learning modules. What those are little minute, 2-minute snippets that you can then give to employees to really reinforce one little specific message. For Toastmasters out there, think structured table topics for a specific reason that you're trying to elicit a specific behavior just from a 1-minute or 2-minute snippet. And it's a great idea in order to make training very specific, very user-friendly, something that they can use right now because it's such a short little sound bite, such a short little video bite, that it's easy to digest almost anywhere, and it can just become part of your day. It's easy to get to, easy to get through, and it makes a lot of sense to be able to do these little micro learning modules to be able to help people in the moment learn to do whatever it is you want them to learn to do, whether it be leadership or management or something technical or relationship building, whatever it is. Really good idea to be able to do these. Well, this guy's company, when they put these out, they put these little 1- and 2-minute snippets out, they put together a structured intro and a structured outro. So as somebody went in to watch this 1- to 2-minute snippet, they also had this wee little introduction that said, hey, welcome to X company. We're going to talk about this. This is who we are. And on the way out, they said, thank you for being a part of X company. This is why we do this. And those two were the same for every single video. Well, because it's something different, not everyone in the organization thought it was a great idea. So the auditors sat back and measured how much time every employee in the company would spend watching the intro and the outro for every single video. And then they multiplied that out, they did the math, multiplied it out by how many employees were out there to determine how much time was being wasted by the organization because training and development put together snippets of videos that they wanted people to watch that had a branded intro and outro. And they presented that as a huge waste of time, and it was part of their case that HR and training and development does not add value, but instead sucks resources out of the company instead of adding value to the company. And this guy was still hot about it a couple years later. But as he was talking about it, the one thing that struck me was, why were they doing these videos in the first place? What was their purpose behind it? And was there a behavioral change from the individuals that watched the videos? Was there something that the individuals got out of those 1- and 2-minute little snippets of video or sound that changed how they interacted with people, changed their mindset, changed their relationship with a customer, changed their relationship with a coworker? What was it they were trying to do, and was that part effective? And was that benefit, did that outweigh the time that people spent watching that short little intro and outro? And nobody ever measured that. So the auditors thought that their job within the company, that why they were there, was to poke holes into why the company spent money in specific places to show that there was no value added. And training and development thought that part of their role was to prove their worth by branding what they did so that you knew exactly where specific things came from. But neither of them thought to look at the bigger picture to why does the company exist? Why did this company formulate in the first place, and why do they matter to their customers? What they should have been measuring wasn't just the cost, it wasn't just the brand, but what they should have been measuring was the impact. Measure what matters. What matters most in that situation isn't the cost or the length of the intro or the outro. What matters most is, was there a change in the behavior that came as a result of watching those little snippets of videos? Now, they did some other branding things that didn't necessarily work out all that well within this. They put together 125 or 150 of these and just released them all at once to the company, kind of like drinking from a fire hose, and it didn't really work out that well for them. But their purpose, though, was to change behaviors, and nobody knows that behaviors were changed. All they know is that auditing loved to find a way to poke a hole in what HR and L&D actually did. So what are you measuring? Throughout your course of your daily life, throughout what you do every day, what do you measure? Do you measure those specific parts because you think that's part of what your job is? Or do you look at the broader picture and measure those things that matter towards the why of your organization, that matter towards the overall delivery of what your job truly entails? If you're a leader, your job is to guide and look after the people that are in your charge. If you're a manager, it's to be more efficient in how people work. Whatever it is you're doing, there is a broader view of your job rather than just what is written in your job description. But if all that you're measuring is what's written in your job description, you're missing the big picture. The big picture isn't those small little incremental costs. The big picture is how do you impact the larger view of what's happening within your company, what's happening within your relationships. So measure what matters. And if you're measuring something, take a step back and make sure that what you're measuring is what you should be measuring. Because when you get too close to something, it gets confusing. But sometimes when you take a step back, you get to see a broader picture for what it really entails. So I appreciate the story that I heard today. I don't think it was necessarily the lesson they were trying to get across, but it's certainly the one that I heard. There was definitely a misalignment between what they were trying to do and what they actually did, what they were trying to measure and what they actually did measure. So tomorrow I get to drive down to Indianapolis to Toastmasters Leadership Institute for Indianapolis, Central Indiana, for Division 11. I get to meet the rest of the leadership for District 11, which means I get to meet more of my tribe. And part of why I'm going to do that is because I want to help build those relationships, because the broader picture of my why is to help as many people as possible. And to do that, I need to be able to find a bigger tribe. So measure what matters. There's Billy Duff. How you doing, my friend? Again, day 31, Bill. I found an abacus, so I know exactly what day today is. Measure what matters. Get out there. Make a big impact. And in everything that you do, have the focus of how can you help the most people do the most good. Do well while doing good. And with that, my friends, be safe tomorrow if you're in Indiana or the Midwest. If not, think about it as we're shoveling out, because apparently people in Indiana stock up the same way for snowstorms as we in Florida do for hurricanes. No bread, no water, no milk on the shelves. But we're out. See you, folks.